Teen Mom Mog Recap. Farrah Abraham returns with a bang and a fit. She's back. The notorious Farrah Abraham has returned to Teen Mom Mog, and life will never be the same. The reality star turned porn princess made her grand entrance in the final moments of the April 20 episode, and in the words of one of the frustrated producers, "That's a Farrah Abraham-style intro, I'll tell you that." Photos, Teen Mom stars, Then and Now. Abraham was originally cut from the show when the other ladies refused to work with her, but MTV decided the show needed that fourth story and signed her halfway through the season. Photos, Farrah Abraham's bikini body. Here's what happened with all of the girls. Clearly resigning her contract owned guarantee this adult toy maker will make it easy for the show's cameramen and producers. The crew arrive at her house to shoot Farrah's back on the show scene, but the formerly rejected star is having none of it. Photos, celebs who have played porn stars. As an overly upbeat producer tries to coax her into cooperating, Farrah touches up her makeup, slips out to get her microwave pizza, and sulks off for an angsty cry. "I was dropped a year ago, then apparently now I'm not so crazy and it's okay that I'm back on TV," she declares, clearly still sore about being caught. "I'm just over being judged. We all agree on the same thing. It's weird that I wasn't a part of it, now I'm a part of it. I already went to counseling for it." Photos, topless stars. Meanwhile, little Sophia is scooting around the mansion trying to put out fires, giving her mom a hug, while her grandparents, Deborah and Michael, preen themselves in front of the camera. Eventually, Farrah shuts down production and kicks the crew out of her house. If that's just her intro, it's clear this is going to be a rough season, and we're not talking about those outfits. Just as Amber's trying to move forward with her life, her ex, Gary Shirley, is attempting to squeeze his way back in. In last week's episode, he announced that he was expecting another baby, this time with his girlfriend Christina, and Amber decided it was over for good. But now her lost love, who in an amazing side note is listed as Gary the Hairy Fairy in her phone, won't stop calling her. He's asking her personal questions, making jokes about his manhood and essentially trying to get her back. 17 months in jail have hardened Amber, and she's no longer interested in Gary's games. She calls Gary over to her house to set some ground rules, but the conversation quickly escalates into a shouting match, which leaves the former anger management attendee fuming. Amber kicks Gary out of her house and advises him not to come back and not to call her again. Now that Bentley and her closest friends know about her pregnancy, it's time for the Tennessee native to tell her ex Ryan Edwards and his parents. She chooses to do so on Halloween, making an awkward announcement in a random driveway as Bentley grins in his Ninja Turtles costume. Ryan's family seems to take it well, but they're wondering why Machi's live-in boyfriend Taylor McKinney still hasn't put a ring on it, aren't we all? Meanwhile, Ryan's dealing with some heartbreak over his girlfriend Shelby's exit. And when the conversation about his relationship status is broached, he flings off his mic pack and walks outside, presumably to continue spitting out his dip. Caitlin Lowell. Grab some tissues and say a prayer that Tyler Baltier can keep it together, because Caitlin and her fiancé meet up with their first daughter Carly's adoptive parents in this episode. Thanks to the sitting mediation of their adoption counselor Dawn, who seems like the kind of lady who would give you some milk and cookies and tell you everything was going to be alright, the foursome are able to make it through a tense meeting. Tyler can't seem to give up his desire to post pictures of Carly on social media, a big no-no that Brandon and Teresa have specifically pointed out in the past. But once Kate and Ty admit that they are afraid of getting their visitation rights taken away, Brendan quickly replies, "It would take a lot for that to happen, so let's be clear and open about that." And it turns out the anxious parents have some insecurities of their own. "There's that same feeling on our side," Brandon adds. "Because you're always going to be her birth parents and we are never going to be her birth parents. Someday she may want to have a relationship with you as adult to adult, which is hard for us. Once everyone's insecurities are out on the table, the conversation is no longer tense. There's nothing we could say to you to say how much we appreciate you allowing us in her life, Tyler says as Caitlyn wipes back tears. Then they bring Carly out for her annual visit with her birth parents, which delights the pregnant Caitlyn and the ecstatic Tyler. They give her a giant Elsa doll from Frozen, which is a big hit, but the gift the couple receives from Brandon and Teresa is even sweeter. They give the expecting parents some of Carly's old toys and blankets for their own daughter, which starts the waterworks. Did we mention we can't wait for little Novali to arrive? Instagram pics aren't the same as seeing that cutie on TV. Tell us, what did you think of Farrah's return and this week's episode? Teen Mom airs Mondays at 10 p.m. each on MTV.